The Deathclaw looks so good.
It did look so good. Like,
Uh,
it was good.
Hello
Hello and welcome to the Knights of Gab-A-Lot. I am Sir Benjamin,
I am Sir Nick.
and we are here to gab your ears off over all things storytelling. And this episode, that is Fallout Season 2, Episode 4.
Demon in the snow. No, can I try that again? Demon in the snow. Okay, there we go. All right. I liked this beginning. I liked it a lot. And you know what I liked about it too? It immediately started making me ask questions right away, right? Because, well, first of all, it goes to the Alaskan front, right? Where Cooper, obviously, before he's the Ghoul, they're fighting the dang commies. And you kind of can see that when he was talking earlier about how the earlier T-60 armor or T-45 armor, whichever one it was, had so many flaws. And you can see that in play. So that was nice to get that little bit. And then he ends up getting, well, not necessarily taken down by three commies, but his suit malfunctions and takes himself down. And as the commies are kind of doing their whole little, oh, here's our speech, where the speech just blah, 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 you know? And then they get attacked by a Deathclaw. And I was so excited and so confused at first because I actually thought that the Deathclaws were products of nuclear fallout.
Yeah, so did I.
But it turns out I must have missed these. I've played the Fallout games quite a bit. I don't sit and read all of the intel logs or the little bits of information you get from the computers.
Yes,
right. I probably should, but so there was in those. Apparently, the Deathclaws were pre-nuclear fallout.
Yes,
they were U.S. government experimental weapons.
Yeah,
which probably explains why, as he's lying down there, and the three commies, they're road spaghetti at this point. The Deathclaw does not attack him, so it could be that there's some sort of inherent training or genetic modification which caused them to not hunt down American soldiers. I don't know. I'm just throwing out some guesses.
Yeah, I had some thoughts about that. I mean, I did have that thought of like, oh, plot armor much, but because automatically, anyone who's played the game is like, Deathclaw, what do I have on me? I have a shotgun. I'm running, or loading a previous save. Like, Deathclaws are a nope or dope.
They're a nope until late game, and then you're like,
yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, like I had this similar thought of like, oh, what's the information with these? I thought they were, and then I think it was like right after I saw the episode, I started watching some lore, doing some lore, reading up on lore, and like, oh yeah. Brief side note. That's creatures as weapons. It's a great idea. I love it as storytelling. It's just you always have run into the issue of friendly fire with them, and how do you deal with them? How do you keep control of them? They can decimate their enemies. Now, how do you deal with them? So it's fun idea for fiction. Not the greatest in practical use, but either way, love the scene, love the lead up, love the whole silhouette of when he's like lying there and the Chinese are doing their whole talk and whatnot, and he can see he can see the Deathclaw silhouetted by the explosions behind them, and it's just like he has that look of like, what am I even looking at?
It looks so good too.
Yeah.
Like it was practical with digital overlay. I mean, I didn't look up to see exactly how much, but when you had the close up of the face and the eyes looking at it, the way that the eyes looked at him, and it blinked. I loved it because there was so much. It was clearly there. So obviously there was some digital overlay. That's fine, but I get so excited when practical special effects are used for monsters.
Yes,
I get so excited.
Yeah, I'm 100% there as well. We could do a whole thing of just talking about our favorite effects, and I could go off on Ray Harryhausen and his contribution to practical effects. Just Harryhausen, the guy is incredible.
Harryhausen. What did Harryhausen do?
His biggest things people know him for are Jason and the Argonauts, the old school one with the skeleton fight. That was him.
Like the old Clash of the Titans, right?
Yes, the old Clash of the Titans. That was another one he did. He did, let's see, Earth versus the Flying Saucers, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, 20 Million Miles to Earth, whole bunch of fantastic stop motion work. Just the guy is incredible what he's done. Like the fight, I know there's a whole big aside, but there's a fight where a scene where Jason fights a Hydra, and Harryhausen has all the heads moving independently, doing different movements, and I don't know if he wrote it down or he had it in his head, but somehow he was keeping track of what movements each head was doing. And it's just the amount of artistry in that kind of effects work is just mind-blowing. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't see Jason and the Argonauts. I did watch the original Clash of the Titans. And I like that. I like that old style of special effects. I know the kids out there be like, "Oh, that's so old now." You know, there are people who say that they never, just out of principle, will not watch a movie before 2010.
That's sad. You're missing
You're
out
missing out on some of the best cinema ever.
So much great storytelling. Like,
I don't want to sound like a boomer on my lawn, but you got to get over yourself. Some of the best cinema you will ever watch was made long before 2010. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox there. But yeah, okay. So after this flashback, we go to Maximus in the present. So the last time we saw Maximus, he had just murdered the emissary of the Commonwealth, Xander Harkness. Yeah. Crushed him with the motor mallet, or whatever it's called. And that was sick. So obviously he did that to protect the ghouls, like the kids, the non-ferals, and Thaddius, the former Brotherhood guy. They hear one of the copters coming in, the Brotherhood copters, and so they devise a plan, which I thought was pretty funny. And it kind of leaned into the idea of, I thought the Brotherhood was supposed to be smart. So, this is stupid, but it amused me. So he puts Thaddius into his suit and then just walks out to the copter without a suit. And then Thaddius comes out, 1 foot at a time. Oh, bumping my head. Oh,
having him pretend to be Xander, having him pretend to be Xander Harkness, and hopefully convince the rest of the Brotherhood that Xander is not dead.
Yeah. Now, this reminded me of a much dumber scene in a really stupid show. Okay, so we have Thaddius. He's in the suit, and he's pretending to obviously be Xander, right? Thaddius is pretending to be Xander. Did I say that? I did.
Yes, that is correct.
And I thought I said Xander's pretending to be Xander. Anyway, and he's clearly not selling it. Clearly not selling it. And the fact that it's fooling everybody is baffling. Did you watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi show?
I did not.
Okay, save yourself the time.
I saw Larry, The Adventures of Larry.
Okay, there was this episode midway through where Princess Leia, as a kid, is captured and brought to an Imperial base, and Obi-Wan needs to go in undercover with this other lady whose name I don't remember. And you're smiling. Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
I think I might. I might.
He goes in. He steals an oversized Imperial coat and a hat, and his hair is clearly coming out. He stands out, right? He's clearly not military cut. They go in, they find Leia, and then they're walking through the base, literally with his big cloak wrapped around her and hiding her, surrounded by stormtroopers, surrounded by commanders, and nobody freaking notices. It was just mind-blowingly stupid. This is a better version of that.
Which is not saying much, to be honest.
It's not saying much, no, because I think at this point the show is establishing that the Brotherhood is actually not very smart. Because every time they show us, they are not the Brotherhood from the show. They're still amusing. They amuse me, they do. But they're not the Brotherhood from the video game.
No. Quick aside. When I said like the Adventures of Larry, I'm referring to there's a YouTube channel, if I can pronounce it right, called Arlenauts or Arlenauts. If you just search Jedi Party, you'll find them.
Jedi Party. Okay.
Yeah, they
I'll
basically
write that down.
they basically recut Star Wars 1 to 7 and make it their own story, where basically the Jedi's are a bunch of coked up partiers, and
Okay.
it's absolute, dude, it's absolutely hilarious. And then they took the entire Obi-Wan Kenobi show and did their own kind of thing with it in this universe, and it is hilarious, like absolutely worth checking out. It is fantastic.
I'll have to check that out. Enough said about that stupid frickin' show.
Yeah, and then we get an update on, Lucy and the Ghoul, where she wakes up after being rescued from the Legion. She's now in
Yep.
the NCR camp. She's just kind of waking up, and NCR kind of wants to recruit. It's like, we could use some more recruits and stuff and whatnot. And she's like, I've got to go find somebody. I was like, oh, someone you care about or someone you hate or whatever. And
Someone
she's
you
like,
want to kill?
yeah, that one. And she's like, both. Or was it both? Or I can't remember if she said both or bring them to
No,
justice.
my answer was both. Your answer was probably both, but she said something a little bit more
right.
obtuse.
Someone who has
Not
hurt
obtuse,
a bunch
different.
of people and she's going to bring them to justice. That's right. That's now I remember. Yes, because she was very much still on the want to bring justice to the Wasteland, which as much as there's a bit of character regression, I think, in some episodes, this, I think, still she's recognizing the severity of the Wasteland, but she's still trying to keep her ideals and trying to have her ideals influence the world around her.
For now.
For now.
I recognize the bro NCR, the older guy. His name is Biff. He's Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh man, now that takes me back. Wow.
Oh, Uncle Rico. It is Uncle Rico, right?
I think so. I could throw a football over those mountains.
Yeah, that's Biff in the scene, the guy who's playing with the squirrel. Yeah, so Lucy is kind of nursed back to health, I guess.
And she gets more weapons from the NCR because they're moving out. And
yep.
And then the Ghoul is like, wonder if that actually have helped you if they knew who your daddy was. I really wish I could remember what she had said back. I should have written it down because it was a pretty decent comeback, but I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it was either. I feel like whoever, because I find sometimes the back and forth between Lucy and the Ghoul can be inconsistent. Sometimes, it's never actually bad, but it definitely wavers in quality. And I think it's just the nature of TV shows. You have a revolving door of writers. So I feel like the writers did a good job here. I feel like they did a really good job here in this episode. But yeah, I don't remember exactly what she said. But the next scene is kind of funny. Vault 33's Inbreeding Club. That was funny. Not really a whole lot happens. It just more shows that more people have shown up to the club. I can't remember the name of the guy, but the guy who in the first episode set up the Inbreeders Club as kind of a solidarity thing.
Yeah, something. So he would have something to do, and then he could also feel significant. Which
does actually play into things later. This isn't just a nothing scene, which is nice. And it's not very long. It just kind of it shows you what it is. It's humorous, it's funny, and it shows that it's picking up in popularity.
It's showing that the need for because there's the water chip issue and needing to ration. And he wants to get more water, but they're trying to ration it. And I love when he's trying to get more water. And Betty, the overseer, is like, it's just a snack club, and he's like, we are a distinct subculture. It was that moment where I was like, I'm not sure if they're meaning to do satire here, because the Fallout games have had.
I took it as satire.
That's what I did too. Like
because everybody in our present culture wants to label themselves as some sort of a distinct subculture. This is what happens when you get rid of religion, ladies and gentlemen. You have to fill it in with other things. Yes. It isn't just that there isn't a void.
Because moving on. Oh man, because when he did that whole thing, because earlier in the scene when we're first come to the scene in the their little meeting hall, and you can kind of overhear some of the conversations people are having. I don't know if it's just me reading into it, but it did, yes, feel like satire of this thing of where people are almost trying to make it an issue, make the genetic thing an issue. Because I think someone was saying something along the lines of like, yeah, I think my dad was like distantly related to my, I can't remember if he said his father-in-law or just something, but it just sounded so like, hey, I'm searching for a reason to be here, kind of thing. And I don't know, it came, the whole overall satire vibe I was getting from it, that it's set, whether intentionally or unintentionally, satirizing the whole thing of someone trying to make a big deal over some little thing, and people are following this person and also trying to jump on the bandwagon, but have to grasp at straws to actually make this thing some big issue or whatnot. And
Yeah, I
we're
actually
super
thought it
touched.
was like what you're talking about. I noticed that too. I thought that was it was a really clever use of time because it was not a very long shot or a very long scene, but it really said a lot. I like the different cultures of the different vaults,
Mhm.
and I'm digging this idea that there's this the whole inbreeding thing because it makes sense, right? Because we
Yeah.
know that it also makes sense why so many of Vault 33 are kind of low IQ because that's exactly what happens.
And we get another now this scene is another great example of someone was playing the video games, the with Lucy and the Ghoul, and Lucy is getting all fidgety and everything, and
Yep,
finds out that she was being given some drugs when she was conked out with the NCR.
Buffout.
Yeah, Buffout. And
Yep,
now she is addicted.
I thought that was so funny.
So many references to just the gameplay aspects of New Vegas. Oh, just so it was so great. Now I thought it was hilarious. She's like, oh, I can't do drugs. Going off of the, old school Americana war on drugs and everything, and her then trying to when he explains like, oh yeah, you could try not to. It's gonna be like 5 days of excruciating pain and
Just
stuff.
vomiting and
Yeah.
blinding pain.
Yeah. And then she's like, okay, but I need to find my dad. I need to bring it to justice. So I should take the drugs. I also like this
No,
little,
oh, go ahead. No, go
it
ahead.
was just a little tidbit from the previous season. And I love this little detail when he passes her the drugs and she takes him, you can clearly see that she still has that finger that was cut off and then replaced in the previous
Yep.
season. I really appreciate that they keep that consistent, and that whoever's involved in makeup and everything remembers to keep that consistent.
Funny little story about the finger. So I was watching some interviews with Ella Parnell.
Mhm.
Ella Parnell or Parnell? Sorry if I got that wrong. I'm gonna go with Parnell. So she would have a day of shooting, and they would, of course, makeup would do the dead finger,
Mhm.
and she referred to it as the poop finger because, well, it looked like that that's what she said, not what I said. So what she would do after a day of shooting, she'd go to the grocery store and start, touching fruit. It's just like, oh, do I want to buy this fruit? And people would be looking at her poop finger with just disgust, and she would go, no, 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 it's makeup, and I'm just a crazy person trying to explain this now. She is a character. She is quite funny. She's entertaining. She's funny. I don't know if I could handle being in the same room with her. I know that I can be pretty animated, but she is she's what I picture the human version of an open wire, like an exposed wire is. Just like just always always onto something. So yeah, poop finger story. Um, oh yeah, the funny thing too, when my wife and I were watching this scene with the drugs and the
Mhm.
withdrawal, it got me thinking. I said, yeah, well, in the game, you pay for somebody to just stick you with like a doctor to stick you with a needle, and then
Mhm.
you're cured. And she goes, what's in the needle? And I didn't know, and it really bothered me. I've been thinking about it ever since. What is in the needle that causes instant addiction removal? Anyway,
It's a game. It's those. It's That's the aspect of the game mechanics
yeah,
that are world breaking.
I'd love it if the game tried to, or excuse me, I'd love it if the TV show tried to explain that in some way. That would be awesome.
That would be.
Yeah, so she's addicted to Buffout, and then yeah, the ghouls' advice is do more drugs. I love that. And then we get back to the airship with Maximus, and he's talking with what's her name? I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't either.
Annoying character person, and
who somehow just knows that Maximus killed Xandar.
Yeah, she just intuits it. Yeah,
just knows.
Yeah, she's one of those annoying characters that just seems to know more than she should for reasons that are never clearly established, and she has very unclear motivations. And it really shows in this episode, because in the previous episodes, she's trying to get him to talk to the commanders of the Commonwealth, not the Commonwealth, excuse me, the commanders of the Brotherhood, to try to get them to not start a war.
Yeah.
And he's quiet about it, and she looks at him with disgust. And then when he gets challenged by that big guy at the very end of that episode and then kills him, you know, he didn't ask for the fight. He got the fight. And then he does it, which is a pretty great feat, to be honest, to be a small person and defeat a guy that big. And she just looks at him like, your character's lame. I'm sorry. Go home. And then this episode, which we're going to get to right now, so she immediately figures out that Xandar is not Xandar. Xandar is somebody else. And then Maximus says, all right, well, I got to go do something. And she says, what are you going to do? And he says, I'm going to kill Quintis. I'm like, okay, cool. All right. I'm not sure how we got from point A to point B, but I will go along with this. Sure.
Yep.
It feels rushed, to be honest.
It did feel rushed, especially her reaction of like, he's like, get the kids, the young recruits or whatever, get them to safety kind of thing. And she's just kind of like, okay.
Goes along with it.
Like this whole scene, there's a lot of lead up to things. Like, again, when, not to harp too much on it, but even the whole thing of where she knows that Xandar has been killed. There's no lead up. There's no like, oh, what did you do? And it's like, oh, well, and then like, oh, you killed him. Like nothing like that. It's just like, she just straight up like has it in the next sentence. I can't remember exactly what she said, but it just the way it was just, it felt like something had been missing almost, that maybe there was a cut line that she gets told or something, or the writer just went with it. I don't know. It was weak. It was a weak scene, unfortunately. It was a good show.
And then we move on to the next scene with Norm and all the 31 Vault 31.
All the Silicon Valley interns.
Yeah, right. Who suddenly mysteriously seem competent. Like the very first scene that we saw them, I wasn't being like a dick, was I? They just looked like a bunch of, okay. Because now they still kind of have that cow at a new gate look, but some of them that were acting frantic and stupid are suddenly just acting smart. You have the girl with the hair, and then you've got the dude, Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie,
who shows up, and they're doing a little bit of
scrounging. They're scrounging for some food supplies.
Yeah, they're scrounging for some food supplies, and then Norm gets confronted by a bigger guy named Ronnie, who is doing a little bit of dick comparison. I can't think of a nicer way of putting it. Where he's like, I was Bud's assistant, and I knew things. And I thought it was a nice little like just building the intrigue a little bit. More and more, originally I wasn't sure if I liked the actor's portrayal for Norm, but he's really grown on me. I feel like even though he doesn't give a whole lot in his facial expressions, but we know exactly what he's thinking.
Yes, yes, we do.
I quite like him. I'm trying to think what else I've seen him in. The only other thing I can remember, was he in like Lizzie McGuire or something?
I think he was. I'm pretty sure he was a Disney Channel kid. And then the first thing I saw, like I never watched any of the stuff he was in on Disney Channel, but he was.
I never did either.
He He was in
Ender's Game.
yeah, Ender's Game as
He played Bean.
no, he wasn't Bean, he was Bonesaw.
Nope, you're right. Yep.
And he played the snot out of that role,
Yeah.
like completely different character than what we see him here.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. This whole time he's looking at Ronnie and as Ronnie's doing his thing. He's saying a lot,
Yeah, he
and
is.
he's not saying a lot.
I'm liking what they're setting up here, and I don't want to be crapping on the show. Like I've been enjoying this. Like I know I keep on bringing up little negatives and whatnot, but like at least this thing's entertaining. But there's these little things like Ronnie. There's just certain things with the Vault 31. Having a bunch of people in cryo who are supposed to be, I was under the impression they were supposed to be more like upper management kind of people. And
They don't act like it.
no, and even Ronnie saying like, "Oh, I was the assistant that took lunch orders for the meetings for what's his name," and I was like, "Then why did they cryo sleep you? Was it just so that because
Nepotism.
yeah, it's like, did you just want your assistant with you when you get to the new world?" I thought the idea was Vault 31 was people in upper management that you could then use to manipulate the other vaults. So what's going on here? Or maybe just not, maybe not everyone who was frozen was meant for that task. I don't know. And then the one chick, where she is talking with little bro about, she's like, "Oh, that bridge, I saw that a week ago. Last time I saw that was a week ago on my way to my Vault Tech interview." I'm like, "You were hired at Vault Tech a week ago, like a week before you were frozen? Like, man, you
That's
must
a good point.
I was like, wow,
That's a good point.
you must have had some really high, like something to offer the company to warrant them to freeze you." But again, I don't want to nitpick at these things and point these things out, but they're there, and I'm hoping, it's really hoping that something's explained, or just something is done with it. Otherwise, it's
This
just
is
kind
true.
of
No, you've actually hit on something I wasn't really thinking of. Yeah, you're right, because they were played up to be as management. Bud, when he was in the little brain thing, made a whole big deal about that.
Mhm.
And this is supposed to be the same collection of pods that Betty came from, and also
Hank.
Lucy's dad, Hank.
Yeah.
So either there's inconsistency, or there's just something else going on that the show has not explained, because it's identified it as one thing and shown it to be another. Maybe we'll get a little bit more light as things go on, but you make a good point. I don't think that's a nitpick. Excuse me. I don't think that's a nitpick, for whatever that's worth.
Speaking of upper management.
Oh, hang on a second. Before
yeah.
we move on to that, Ronnie says to Norm something about plans for vaults 32 and 33. Hinting at some sort of deeper, not necessarily conspiracy, but even because obviously we know that there's conspiracy going on, but it's even deeper than that.
Yeah.
Speaking of upper management,
you have Betty and Steph, the two vault overseers from 33 and 32, are now meeting to negotiate, because Steph's dealing with the issues with the water chip and wanting to get some water from Betty's vault, and
other way around.
Right, my brain. Right. Betty dealing with the water shortages, yeah, and they're clashing on plans and how this is supposed to work, and it's like both are recognizing that the experiments are over, but almost like they don't want to tell the others. I don't know, it's there's a lot not being said here, and Steph saying, "Well, I've got a child I need to look out for," and just
yeah, it's like both of them have a performance that they have to keep up, but the show is over and the crowd has gone home, but they're still going through the motions.
Yeah,
it's really interesting, and Betty's realizing more and more that's the case. And then Steph says to Betty, we'll consider trading water. And then she says, Hank had a keepsake box. If you bring that to me, I'll consider trading water. And Betty says, what's in the box? And Steph says, What did she say? I didn't write it down. Did I write it down? I did not write it down. But something very typical of her character, and that was it.
Yeah, I think it was like because she said it's like from before the war, and yeah, it was something about like almost like a keepsakes or just like something sentimental or something like along those lines, hinting that there might be something more nefarious with it. And of course, they're also being overheard by, and I forgot his name, the heavy-set curly-haired man.
Oh yeah. Theo.
Yeah, Theo is overhearing what's going on, and he's kind of like, this seems off. And that was it
Hmm.
for there. The
And
plot
then we
thing.
move over to the entrance to New Vegas, back with the Ghoul and Lucy. And I have to say, every single time I see landmarks that I recognize, I feel so warm and fuzzy on the inside. You know, it's that big gaudy sign, the Strip. You know, and there's Securitrons. They've been destroyed, but there's a problem. The Ghoul is looking for people who are supposed to be there. They're not there.
Mhm.
Instead, there's a bunch of ghouls dressed like Elvis.
The Kings,
The Kings.
remnants of the Kings gang.
Oh yeah. So many war crimes I committed. So many war crimes. Basically, I would just go around with high stealth and farm XP.
Okay, yeah. That's not. I role play too much. I don't. I'm like I actually do this thing of like, would my character do this? No, he wouldn't. Okay, I put too much of my stats into charisma because I like to find all the dialogue options that you don't usually
Well,
find.
yeah.
I'm all about finding that stuff.
I don't kill the main characters. I just kill the no-name NPCs for XP.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the ghoul's like, all right, well, let's go around. It's like half a day's walk.
We'll
And
go
I'm
to
thinking,
Freeside.
I know exactly how long that takes because I have done this walk.
Okay, I'm just wondering because it's been a while since like I've been playing New Vegas again, but I'm trying to remember all the entrances. Are there multiple entrances to the strip, or I thought there was only the entrance through Freeside?
There's the entrance to the strip, but you can still get into New Vegas through Freeside. But from Freeside, I think you move into a different section where the NCR had their little base set up outside of the strip. And
Hmm.
then from that area, you move into the strip. So there are multiple ways into the strip, but to go through Freeside is a whole lot more convoluted.
Okay, because I've always when I've entered the strip has always been through Freeside, so I didn't know that there was another entrance to the strip. Because when he mentioned in this scene, like, "Oh, we'll go through Freeside," my head's like, "I thought you were in Freeside." So evidently, I missed
Mm-mm.
I missed
Yeah,
it.
no, this section I think would be on the southern point of the map, if I remember correctly. Freeside's kind of along the right top.
Okay.
But this entrance is heavily guarded by Securitrons. If I remember correctly, someone will probably correct me. And you require membership, and they're not going to hand out membership. So you got to go through Freeside. Eventually, you do get that membership. Then you can enter through that way freely.
Yeah, because I was like, I still went through Freeside and still had to do the membership thing to get to the strip itself. But
That's a
anyway,
different
what?
membership.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then Lucy says, "Well, that's a long ways. Let's just make this happen." She's tweaking
Yeah.
on the Buffout. Yeah, basically she goes in, she starts shooting legs off the ghouls. She's just blasting them away and having a great old time. I leaned over to Ashley. I was like, "This is about the point where you reach level 10, level 12, and you realize I don't die to everything now."
Yeah. I loved his the ghouls line when he was going to talk about going to Freeside, and then she's like, "Oh, let's do this," and he's like, "Hmm, this must be the drugs talking. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it." He
And
just
then
said,
Lucy kills all of the ghouls single-handed while the ghoul is just watching. And she says, "What? They're just ghouls. It's fine." And the ghoul just kind of looks at her like, "Hmm?"
"That was great."
And then she goes, "Huh, do you have any cigarettes?" And he says, "One addiction at a time."
That was so good.
It was good. It was
I
real
loved
good.
it. Oh, I also like that, and I don't know, just me, because the ghouls were kind of shambling, like they were
Mhm.
shambling a bit, and they're dressed like Elvis. Just made me think it's like, okay, now we just need some music playing. They're shambling. Like you've seen Elvis dance. He's got that kind of sway shamble thing going with his hips and whatnot. It's like they're practically doing Elvis right there.
We go back to Area 51 with the Brotherhood. Thaddius is still in Xander's suit,
Oh,
and he's in the lunch hall, continuing to be very unconvincing as Xander Harkness.
and attracting so much attention to himself. Like everyone is constantly like looking up at him as he's like fumbling around, and he's carrying a dish of food. And it's like, how are you going to eat that? You're so dense.
And he thinks that he can mutter to himself without anybody hearing him. It was like, "You got this. You're good. You got this, man. It's okay. I'm having a panic attack." And then it goes to the outside. Am I having a panic attack?
Oh yeah, and then the other representatives of
Yeah,
the other
Yosemite.
of
Yosemite
Yosemite,
shows up, and
yeah, and she's like, hey, we can go with the Commonwealth. We just need a guarantee of so and so many power cores for our for our units and whatnot. And one of the other guys shows up like, oh well, we'll do it for less power cores, and they're negotiating and whatnot. And he's, I think I'm having a panic attack. What's a panic attack? Shortness of breath, and you can't.
and he says, "Oh, that just sounds like a coronary. Walk it off."
Yeah.
And then as the scene is happening, it then also flips back to Maximus, where he goes to meet with Quintis, and he
Mhm.
locks the door, and he pulls the gun out, and he's chatting with Quintis, and this to me is where Maximus's story falls apart. It makes no friggin' sense now. So he's going in there. I'm like, all right, we're gonna figure out what his true motive is. It can't just be they talked mean to him, or maybe it is. So it goes in there. He's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you. You're going to kill me? Yeah, I'm gonna kill. What's your plan? I don't have a plan. I've never had a plan. Things just happen to me. Things just happen to me and I react. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Now he's just gone full dweeb. He's erased all of this character development where he's gone. Because when he started, let's be honest, he was a dweeb.
Yes.
Absolutely a dweeb. And still a bit of one going on. But by like the beginning, by the end of season one and the beginning of season two up to this point, he's become a knight.
Yeah.
Correct? He's a knight.
Yep.
He has clout, he has power, he has authority. And he's made some very real choices and he knows it. But now he's just saying, I've never chosen anything. It just happens. And what? And then it's just the stupidest thing. And I freaking hate this. TV shows do this, movies do this, and it drives me freaking crazy. You have a gun and you let somebody come close to you. Why? Quintus is just moving closer. Oh, this is your plan, your plan. He's just moving real close. He moves like this close. And then he ends up going away, finds a gun in a drawer, and then a shootout happens, and then
But
Maximus retreats. And I'm like, well, that was lame.
also the thing that's bothering me with the show is portraying the Brotherhood of Steel, and
Uh,
I think I'm not sure where they're going with it, but some of the things that Quintus is saying about earlier when when he's like, oh, what's your plan? What is your plan? I'm gonna bring order. Are you gonna bring order? What kind of order are you gonna bring? And just some of the other things he was saying, and I can't remember. There was a line um where he was talking about order, but he was talking about it being like brutal and different things like that. It's needed, and I'm like, this sounds less like the Brotherhood of Steel and more like the Enclave. It's almost like the writers kind of combined the two or whatnot. I don't know. It just
but the Enclave does exist. We've seen it.
yeah. I mean,
In
not
season one, there was the guy, remember the guy who had the thing in
hmm
the head? And they
yeah,
were going after the head?
yeah,
He was from the Enclave.
yeah. Which I'm not sure if they're technically supposed to still exist in the continuity, but that's a whole other dumpster dive of lore. But yeah, there's just certain things with how they're doing the Brotherhood that just doesn't line up with the Brotherhood and everything. And
It really bothers me.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
getting worse and worse.
it is.
You know, well, when you have organizations, like it doesn't take a whole lot of time in the video games with the different factions, they have distinct ways of talking and behaving and reasoning. And the Brotherhood has none of those distinctives whatsoever. They're just they're just stupid.
Bunch of gun. They come across as a bunch of gun nuts.
And that's not what they are.
No.
They are, I mean, they're supposed to be a bit of a fanatical faction.
Yeah.
And Quintis manages to capture that, but nothing else about the organization feels like it's a fanatical faction.
It also doesn't show that there is a moral code to them
Yeah.
as well. But in the show, you don't see it. Yeah. So of course, even when Maximus is like, oh, when Quintus is asking like, oh, what happened to my son, and talking about Xander, he was going to kill Ghoul kids, and Quintus going off on that. I don't know. There's a bit that you get like, yes, that the Brotherhood of Steel, wants to get rid of abominations, everything, but it's not just a thing of, it's not a race purity thing. It's a thing of like, okay, that anything irradiated can be a harm to humanity, and the ultimate goal of the Brotherhood is to not to repeat the mistakes of the past. Hence why they're trying to collect all this information and tech and anything from the past so that they can learn from it and help humanity not to repeat the mistakes of the past, primarily in regards to war, and give humanity its best fighting chance. And it considers anything that has been irradiated as something that would destroy that fighting chance. Hence why they are so fanatical about getting rid of different things like
I
that.
didn't read Quintus as being like a racial purist in the sense. I mean, the ghouls are disgusting. Let's be honest. And it does fit that they'd want to kill them, not out of a sense of racial purity, but just out of a sense of, they're an infection. I mean, they're like zombies at some point without intervention. I would have loved for Maximus to have his moment, where Quintus says, "Are you going to shoot me?" And then he just with that voice of his, yeah. And then blam, 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 blam.
Blam, blam.
That would have been a great moment. Yes, it would have been cold-blooded murder and all of that, but for his character and for what was supposed to be shaping up to be, that would have been a great moment. And they can't just let him have that moment. He's got to be a dweeb.
And it gets even worse when after he runs out of there and runs into what's her name, because she after we'd seen her, she got all the other recruits hidden away and like, don't come out till the shooting stops. He runs into her and she asks if he what happened, and he's like, oh, I couldn't do it, I'm sorry. And she says the dumb line,
never apologize for not taking the life.
And it was that moment I was like, you are the Rose of this show. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Rose Tico from The Last Jedi.
Yes, when she shoves Finn out of the way from when he could have stopped this big weapon from destroying the rest of the Alliance or whatever, the rebels or whatnot, and she knocks him out of the way. We don't win by destroying what we hate. We preserve what we love, or some stupid
ass thing.
Yeah, and like this was like that scene for me.
Yeah, I mean the context is a little bit different. Finn was going to have a self-sacrifice scene.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? But but it's not completely unrelated. I agree with you. Rose Tico. Yeah.
And then she gives him the cold. Did you have anything else to add to that part?
No, I'm still frustrated by this scene, but I think I've already said everything I need to say.
And she gives him the cold fusion thingamajig that they'd all been chasing in the first season, tells him to get it away from there. And she said something about them. They're survivors. And he goes running off with, I keep on forgetting his name.
Thaddius.
Thaddius, yes. He and Thaddius go running off into the desert. Well, the airships start attacking each other over Area 51.
Which was a cool shot.
Very cool shot. And I hope we get more Area 51, get to see that implemented more, because it's Area 51. You do not waste this as just being a base where they hung around. This is Area 51.
I mean, I think it works for it to just be a base that they just hang out in, because we know what Area 51 is like. They don't understand that. So I like the casual way that they treat Area 51, because it doesn't tell, it shows this is a different world.
True.
They don't have a reason to understand. I'm sure the higher ups do, because there's, computer logs and stuff, but most of the underlings, no idea.
I think I'm just grumpy because I think that New Vegas missed an opportunity to have an Area 51 DLC.
True. Wouldn't that have been sick? Oh, that would have been sick.
Right?
And then there's aliens. Maybe they'll make one. Who knows?
I'd love that.
But yeah, just kind of verdict right now. I feel like Maximus's character is ruined at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hold out hope for the next episode, but I think it's ruined.
Yeah.
Too bad.
They were doing great stuff with him, but I'm not gonna throw him out just yet. We'll see it. We'll assess at the end of the show. At the end of the season.
I agree. I'm going to hold out hope, but yeah. So then we go from here back to Vault 32.
Mm-hmm.
I was mistaken. Chubby guy that was eavesdropping on Steph and Betty. His name is Woody, not Theo.
Woody, right.
My mistake. Yeah, so he's meeting with Steph in her in her little apartment area, and basically reporting what he perceives to be a overseer oversteps. And she's saying, "Yep, thank you very much for your concern. I will report it to the higher ups." Well, who are the higher ups? You are the higher up. Yep, we will consider it. It was pretty funny. It's very clear that Woody is not long for this world.
No.
So while she's talking with Woody, though, what's the name of her simp boyfriend?
Chet.
Chet. So he's got the baby in the shoulder sling, and he's putting laundry away, some socks, and he has issue with the sock drawer, and he can't quite frickin' figure it out. And he figures out that there's a false bottom, and he looks under there, and what does he find? I wasn't expecting this.
No, I wasn't. Her pre-war ID that she is actually from Canada. And it was when it was annexed by the United States.
That felt a little too close to home, to be honest with you. I'm not an America hater. I've no issues with that whatsoever. But I am a little nationalistic. I still hold on to this proud to be Canadian. So annexed by the United States, I was like, no, you shut up. You shut up right now. I came here for distraction and for amusement. Shut your cake hole.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm really curious as to what they're going to do with how much of the past they're going to show of the Canadian annexation and how things happened. I'm really curious if they're going to show her, because if I remember correctly from some of the lore stuff, is that there was the annexation, and then they basically had to have a garrison everywhere constantly, and they were putting down riots in like Toronto and shooting civilians in the street and stuff.
We're going to put down the riots. The riots will be taken down. It'll be the greatest takedown of riots you've ever seen.
So I'm wondering could this be a thing of where she's a collaborator, and they might do some kind of like World War II parallels, Nazi collaborators, or French collaborators, kind of parallels with that.
Well, it works because the United States in real life and in the show are capitalistic. And I'm going to take a wild guess that in the TV show that Canada, as well as in real life, is basically socialist / communist. So do with that what you will.
I mean, in the lore, it was part of it had to do. It was during the Alaska offensive, and just people weren't happy with it, and a lot of Canada was not happy that this war was keeping on going, and just the amount of logistics and stuff of the U.S. passing through Canada, and so that's what I think. I can't remember all of the lore stuff. I think there was other stuff, but that was part of it. Was Canada was tired of them being the doormat, as the U.S. rolled up to the battlefront in Alaska, and then the U.S. was like, "Oh, we'll just take them over too." Also, we all need resources.
A little too close to home.
Yeah. And then we get to the
strip,
and it is toast.
Oh man, I was like, the Lucky 8, the Ultra Lux, Gamora. And she's like, shut up. I get it. You know what these are. I'm like, the things. And Lucy's still tweaking out a little bit. The Ghoul has kind of got this what the kind of look on his face. And then she goes, oh, look, eggs. What size chickens do they have? And she holds up like this cracked egg. Buck, 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 and then she puts it down. And the Ghoul's like, oh, this ain't good. We know what it is, obviously. You know? I thought this was a great way to end an episode.
With the Deathclaw.
The Deathclaw coming out of the Lucky 8.
Or was it? I thought it came out of the Gamora. Actually, it doesn't matter.
Either one, yeah. I thought it was the Lucky 8.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Either way, and it stands up, and the building is breaking around its head. Oh, that is so cool.
The look on Cooper's face was just like, you're clenching, and I'm clenching too, because every time I see Deathclaws, I'm automatically like freaking out in Fallout, just like, oh shoot. That
yeah.
And I was like, all the players who have played the game are clenching along with you, Cooper.
And it was so great, the fact that he said almost nothing, and the fact that the Ghoul, the one who has this kind of cowboy attitude the entire time, was clearly crapping his pants. Perfect. It was good. Yep. You know, Lucy comes up beside him. Her eyes are already really big. Ella Purnell has really big eyes. Yeah. They were like, you know, and then she goes, okie dokie, and then the credits roll, and I was like, that was great. Great. That was a great end to an episode. That was a seriously mixed bag episode.
It was.
But the good stuff was great, and the bad stuff was.
Yeah, I will say though, for as much as the issues I've had with the episode, I will say at least it was entertaining, and the good stuff. There was enough of the good stuff to give me enjoyment. Like I don't want to compare too much, because they're completely different shows, different writing styles, whatnot. But the big thing I would say for Alien, after watching Alien, or a lot of the episodes were kind of boring. Like nothing happened.
They didn't go anywhere. It was full of exposition. This show is entertaining.
Yes.
Even where things aren't ideal or even good, overall the show is good. And it's remained consistent in that respect.
Yeah.
For me, as disappointed as I was with the whole Brotherhood thing really turning out to just be this big paper tiger as far as expectations are concerned.
Yeah.
It doesn't ruin the show for me. It doesn't ruin this episode, but it is a black stain. I'm not going to pretend that it isn't, but really enjoy it. And again, just the Deathclaw looks so good.
It did look so good. Like, it was good. It
was good. I'm excited for the next episode. It's so weird being excited for a show. There's been so many shows that are just kind of like, yeah, I guess we'll put it on, whatever. And this is great.
I'm with you. I'm happy to be excited about something.
And it just goes to show too, like we don't expect. I think this is probably reflective of most people. There isn't the expectation of a show or something being perfect. Perfection is, we don't need it. It's fine. Entertain us. Make it authentic. And they do that. It's not that hard. That's all I got. I'll get
Yeah.
off my soapbox now.
Get on down.
Get on down.
All right, that is taking us to the end here. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time. And hopefully our thoughts are more coherent.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for tuning in. You can find more from Sir Nick by searching Great Tradition on YouTube. You can also find me there by searching Classy Chappy. If we name dropped anyone during the show, be sure to check them out and leave them a comment saying that Classy Chappy sent you. The intro music was by Kevin MacLeod, incomtech.com, used under Creative Commons 4.0. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.